So today I want to make some nacho cheese. This recipe makes a nice creamy, melty nacho cheese that stays viscous even after it cools. It's relatively easy and the stuff can be made from any cheese you want, actually. The recipe more or less follows an old Chef Steps video on how to make nacho cheese, but there's a few simplifications and I'll explain more as I go on. Okay, so let's start with the most important ingredient of the nacho cheese, which is of course, as you guessed it, the jalapeno peppers. Pickled peppers will give you more of that classic vinegary nacho cheese that you find at the bowling alley, but I had some fresh peppers hanging around and I opted to use that. Here we're going to chop these guys kind of small so they blend in with the cheese. Next, we're going to need the actual most important ingredient here, which is the cheese. So now I'm using two types of cheese here, but as I said before, what we use is actually completely up to you. So I'm using 50 grams of yellow cheddar and 100 grams of aged white cheddar for that umami boost. Next, we're going to need about 250 milliliters or about 1 cup of milk, which we're promptly going to heat up on medium heat. I'm going to set that to the side as I measure out the last ingredient, which is actually the most important ingredient, which is something called sodium citrate. Now this stuff is what makes cheese sauce. It's purely there for the texture, and if you have ever had American processed cheese or velveeta or anything like that, this is the ingredient they use as a binding agent. Now, it's not that hard to find online and it's relatively safe for you. If you want to find this stuff, I'll put some links in the description below. So of that stuff, we need 12 grams. Now in the Chef Steps recipe, they actually use some other ingredients and they also sous vide it. But as you can tell by my video quality and lack of Joule advertisements, this isn't Chef Steps. So we're simply just going to be heating the ingredients together and that will be that. So speaking of which, our milk has come up to temperature. We can add our cheese as well as our peppers as well as our sodium citrate, being sure to mix all of this thoroughly with your whisk. Now, just keep the heat on and make sure that everything gets mixed well. Now, once everything's melted and mixed, technically we're done, but I was being a little obsessive here and wanted to blend the peppers with my stick blender, which actually turned out to be completely pointless. So now we're done, and that's that. It's great for a dip, and you can also add some chili here to make a chili cheese dip if you really desired, or you can even put it on a hot dog. So it will thicken up and give that characteristic cheese sauce texture after it's cooled down for a little bit. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and please subscribe if you did. It really helps me a lot. All right, bye.